Last thing we're going to look at is whether the company has a favorable or unfavorable direct manufacturing efficiency variance. So you can have a price variance or efficiency variance for labor as well. For some reason, the problem only asks us to look at the efficiency variance. And just a reminder, the efficiency variance would be having slow people or people working slower than we expected. That's one issue we can address as managers. We can figure out why are they working slow. Either they don't know what they're doing, they need more training, they're incompetent, we fire them. We just did a bad job of estimating the time up front, so we need to change that or whatever, as opposed to a price variance. A price variance would be something like, well, why did we put this person that gets paid $20 an hour working on a job where we only budgeted $10 an hour? That's a price variance. So that's a different management issue, right? That's a why did we put this person there, and we can fix that problem just by shuffling around employees as opposed to additional training or stuff like that. So, okay, so the efficiency variance for labor is the same calculation we had for the efficiency variance for material. I've got that listed here. It's the actual quantity of the input used, and here it's minutes because it's labor or hours, minus the budgeted quantity of the input allowed, again it's minutes or hours, times the budgeted price per minute or per hour. So we've got and again we want to be detailed here because labor is broad. That's too vague. I can't determine who I need to go and address an issue with as a supervisor. Does a stirring department, the preparing department, and a company can have multiple departments. So we want to be as detailed as we can so we can use this as a management tool. So the actual quantity of input used comes from this usage report. And you'll notice it tells us that we used 310,000 minutes in the preparing department. You gotta put enough zeros there. And we used 515,000 in the stirring department. Now what were we allowed? That's where you come up with this little standard card here. This tells us what we thought we were going to use. When we were in the preparing department, it was 1.2 minutes per pound of ice cream. And remember, you take that amount times the amount allowed. The allowed amount, that is the amount allowed, but how many did we make? 275. Made 275,000 pounds. We were allowed 330,000 minutes in preparing, and in stirring is 1.8 minutes. It takes a little bit longer to stir it than it does to prepare it, times the 275,000 minutes. Okay, so the difference is the used minus the allowed. So now this is very telling, right? I can look at the price, and that's important, but this right here, I can go to a manager and say, hey, what's going on? You did a great job here. Maybe our standard's off. How come it took 20,000 less minutes to prepare it than we expected? Maybe we need to give your people a bonus or a raise. And here we would say, hey, these stirring people, they're really bad at their job. It took them an extra 20,000 minutes, or maybe they need more training, or you have the wrong people doing that job. And so we take that, this is in minutes, and we multiply it by the budgeted price. Now here you have to do some converting. You can see the stirring department is a higher skilled position. They get paid more than the preparing department. You take that 1440, that's for 60 minutes, right? 1 hour. So you got to convert that into minutes because our quantity, our unit of measure here is minutes. So you divide that by 60, it's 24 cents a minute. And for the stirring department, it's $18 divided by the 60, it's 30 cents a minute. So my total efficiency variance is the budgeted price times that difference for each department. And we again should be consistent in looking at this and determine with a U or an F whether we have a favorable or unfavorable variance. Remember what we looked at here. Again, you can memorize the formulas and determine which one's favorable or unfavorable, but I like to look at it logically and say we used fewer minutes than we were allowed. That's a good thing, right? That's a favorable variance. We used more minutes than we were allowed. That's a bad thing. That's an unfavorable variance. We're going to net the two together, and we're going to say, okay, in total we have an unfavorable variance, an unfavorable labor efficiency variance. So that's the answer to the fourth requirement. I know that the problem also asks you to comment on the variances. I've been doing that along, so I'm not going to have a separate video here that shows you how to do that. You can tell me in your own words what you think about each of the variances. So that's it for this problem.